I'm here with Matt Pohl from the Australian National Maritime Museum. Matt, tell me a little about your organization.
The Australian National Maritime Museum is about 30 years old, I guess, a little bit more. Built as a bicentenary project, and after Australia won the America's Cup in 1984, started a big national conversation about that. So it's a relatively new museum for a national museum, but also has it took lots of other museum collections and brought them together into a very interesting space.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, where are you located?
We're in Sydney.
You're in Sydney. It's all okay, wonderful. Now, what do you do at the museum? What is your role?
Well, I'm Manager of Indigenous Programs. So I work with many First Nations communities around the country who explore what we call sea country. The shape of the Australian coastline has changed so many times over the 60,000 years that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have been living there. So there's just so many amazing stories about people's relationship with the sea. Some of the oldest rock engravings in Sydney where we live are marine creatures.
That is amazing. Well, I can't wait to come and see some of this. Now, you're here at the International Conference of Maritime Museums here in Rotterdam. Why are you here? You came all the way.
This is my first one. Also, just to learn, I think we've got a crew of about 5 from Australia here at this one because we're hosting the next one in 2026. So it's a bit of a fact-finding, bit of a handover, see how it's done. It's a really fascinating crowd of people. So many diverse countries represented. It's quite special.
Yeah, fantastic. And so do you have any exhibitions coming up or anything coming up that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, the big one that we're over here promoting is the one that we did called Shaped by the Sea. It's that dual lens of Australia's deep time history, how it was literally, the deserts in the middle of Australia were once ocean floors. Yeah. A lot of the dinosaur fossils you find in Australia are marine creatures. So we sort of matched that with the Indigenous lens, which is 60,000 years of stewardship and custodianship of land and sea country.
Exactly. So, yeah. Well, I think one of the most interesting things is in the maritime heritage world, a lot of people are thinking in the hundreds of years time frame. And to hear you talking about 60,000 years, that is, of course, the most important period. That is when humans began interacting with the sea and developed massive technology and understanding. So a lot of museums don't engage that. How are you trying to engage that with some of your audiences and some of your constituents?
We really try and take the big picture view. I mean, that leap from people from Sunda into Sahul 60,000 years ago, they used watercraft. They were out fishing. They didn't just make a boat once to sail across. They sailed backwards and forwards hundreds of times. The place where that first Aboriginal person set foot on Australia is 20 meters below the sea these days. So much evidence of our past is connected to the sea. We have a very strong underwater archaeology program, and we're finding sites all the time. Places where people live for tens of thousands of years that are in shallow waters and bays and harbours and things like that. And who knows what's out there waiting to be discovered. I mean, Australia is very fertile.
What an amazing perspective. It's just so interesting. I really can't wait to get there. And I'm looking forward to the next ICMM conference, which is going to be in Australia. So
awesome.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Not a problem.
Hey, what a pleasure. Have a great day.
Fantastic.
Okay.